I say that this news was like a bomb going off in the MAGAverse, I mean that sincerely. Before I get into all these juicy details though, please do me a big favor, hit the subscribe button below this video. It is free, really truly helps the show. I greatly appreciate it. So here's what all is going down. Let me remove this banner. Rasmussen released the results of a poll that they conducted recently. They surveyed just over 1,200 voters between the ages of 18 and 39. Holy shit balls, you guys. Okay, it is not what they were expecting. And for those who aren't familiar, Rasmussen, they are basically a MAGA polling group. Their polls almost always favor the Republican Party, favor Trump. So for this particular pollster to come back with these results that I'm going to share with you, it is truly jaw-dropping. In fact, hardcore Trump humper Glenn Beck posted about this on Twitter. And I'm going to read you his post because he summed up all of the results very nicely. I had to split it into two sections because he shared so much, but here's the first thing. So he wrote, quote, "A shocking number of young Trump voters support socialist policies, a democratic socialist president in 2028, and UN supervision of America, according to a new poll from Rasmussen and Justin T. Haskins. They polled young American voters 18 to 39 and discovered, first, approval rating for Trump was higher than expected, 48%. 76% of young voters agree that major industries like healthcare, energy, and big tech should be nationalized to give more control and equity to the people. This includes a strong majority of young Republicans. 53% would like to see a Democratic socialist candidate win the 2028 presidential election. This includes 35% of those who said that they voted for Trump in 2024. Let me repeat that for you. 35% of the participants in this poll who voted for Trump said that they would like to see a 35%. This includes a strong major industries like healthcare, energy, and big tech should be nationalized to give more control and equity to the people. This includes a strong majority of young Republicans. 53% would like to see a Democratic socialist candidate win the 2028 presidential election. This includes 35% of those who said that they voted for Trump in 2024. Let me repeat that for you. 35% of the participants in this poll who voted for Trump said that they would like to see a Democratic socialist in 2028. He goes on to say, among the voters who say they want a socialist president, 31% said the main reason for their support was because housing costs are too high. 55% said they would support a law that would confiscate Americans' excess wealth, including things like second homes, luxury cars, and private boats, in order to help young people buy a home for the first time. That's how desperate people are. 59% support a proposal for a new constitutional amendment that would give the United Nations the authority to oversee the Supreme Court and the presidency to ensure that Americans' rights are being protected. 59%, you guys. Almost 6 out of 10 of these young people want the UN to ensure our rights. And the polling results continued. So he, like I said, it was just too long for me to put all in one. So he went on to say, quote, 40% said they support fines or legal penalties for Americans who refuse to use others' preferred gender pronouns. That one really shocked me because I am a hardcore leftist progressive, and I don't even agree with that. I think, you know, you're a shitty person if you don't call someone by the name that they prefer and the pronouns they prefer, but I don't think people should be penalized. I think we should uphold, you know, free speech in this country. It goes on to say 39% support a constitutional amendment that would abolish the U.S. Congress and replace it with a National Citizens Assembly selected by lottery. Only 24% of young Americans rated their financial situation as doing well, which is the whole crux of the matter. The two most popular responses were getting by and struggling. So of the people who are not doing well, their top responses were that they're just getting by and they're struggling. Goes on to say 59% said America should be the most powerful country in the world. So not what you would expect, right? 59% said that they support imposing a maximum income cap for individuals. Gen Z voters were more socialistic authoritarian than millennials, and they want to burn, or this is Glenn Beck's opinion, they want to burn the whole system down because we aren't offering better solutions and speaking their language. This must change. I mean, I will agree with Glenn Beck on that, right? I mean, this was shocking. This was really shocking. And Trump and the Republicans, they keep blathering on about how, oh, Gen Z is in the bag for MAGA. You know, they hate the Democratic Party. We all hate the Democratic Party. I will vote for the Democratic Party in the midterms, and I hate them. I hate the party apparatus. I hate the establishment. So that part is true. What they're not understanding is that just because people hate the Democratic Party, it doesn't mean they're not going to vote for them. But here's the thing. Only the traditional establishment Dems are the ones that need to go, right? And young voters are hungry for change, so they will vote for whatever party is going to help them. That's what I need the left to understand. If you fall for this lie that Donald Trump and his Trump humpers are putting out there and saying, oh, we see all these young people, they're just all for authoritarianism and they're all for fascism and, you know, they're a lost cause, blah, blah, blah. So we got to go for the centrist and the moderates and, you know, the never Trumpers. You guys don't understand. They're going to vote for whatever candidate is offering to shake things up. Whatever candidate is against the establishment. That's why so many liberals don't understand why these people voted for Trump. They thought that that's who he was. They thought he was an outsider. They thought he was going to change things. He was going to drain the swamp. He was going to go in and destroy the establishment and the elitists. They weren't aware of his true nature, of who he really is. And that's why, you know, I see so many comments from liberals saying, oh, you're making excuses for them. No, when they were 10 years old, when Donald Trump, you know, was first in power, some of these 20-something-year-olds, they weren't paying attention. They weren't living it in the way that we all were. They weren't experiencing the heinousness of Donald Trump as we all were, if that's even a word. And this is why I keep saying Gavin Newsom, the Pete Buttigieg of the world, they will never get this demographics vote. They will never get the vote of the young nihilists who are sick and tired of the same old, same old. This is why I'm so concerned that liberals are just not getting it. Take a listen to what one of these pollsters, this is a Rasmussen pollster, after these results came out, he was on Steve Bannon's network. It wasn't Steve Bannon interviewing him, but take a listen to what this guy had to say. His name is Mark Mitchell.
Are in a really bad spot. Now, you've probably heard a lot of really good headlines about the future of the Democrat Party, about how their brand is in the tank, about how over the long term they're going to hemorrhage electoral votes as the 2030 census catches up with all of the movements that happened post-COVID, how we might fix the 2020 census, and that might give another 15 seats back to the Republicans, and also all this redistricting stuff. Now, that's all correct, but the problem is that Trump still has to have the Republicans win November of 2026. And, you know, the bad news is that every single major pollster right now has the Democrat Party picking up seats in the House and most likely winning the majority. Then the biggest thing that I can come up with is, well, maybe people didn't like the One Big Beautiful Bill because the messaging kind of stunk, or maybe people were upset about the fact that we were getting involved with stuff with Israel. But probably the biggest one is the Epstein thing, and I've lost a ton of followers calling Trump out for the way he handled that, because it was kind of a canary in the coal mine that maybe we aren't getting the massive redress of voters' grievances that we thought we were going to get with Trump. And our list of legislation is essentially the One Big Beautiful Bill, and that's about it. The problem is November of 26, and I don't see a lot of action out of Republicans right now at all. It seems like they think they're just going to coast through and maintain a House majority on Trump's coattails. Yes. And let me tell you, that is not the case. There's a lot of headlines out there about how conservative the Zoomers are. And they are not. Like you said, they are economic populists. They are not happy with the way the system is. 65% of them think that it's completely unfair to young people. And the numbers are horrifying. 17% unemployment rates. Half of them are single. Of the people who are single, only 35% of them are trying to find life partners. Only half of them think that they're confident that they'll own a home. The Republicans, they're down 16 points on the generic ballots with 18 to 29-year-olds. They're absolutely going to get crushed. They think that this, like, granddaddy's laissez-faire conservatism where the government just steps out of the way and the Laffer curve and all that stuff is going to work for these people, and it's not. These people are hurting, and they want change really fast. And if they're not going to get it out of the Trump administration, they're going to go into the arms of Bernie and AOC. That's a fact.
So again, guys, it was Mark Mitchell. He is all in for Trump, and he is warning Republicans. Here's the thing. Democrats need to heed this warning as well. Because if we put up another milquetoast generic Democrat who promises, I'm going to nibble around the edges, I'm going to be moderate, I'm going to try to win over the never-Trumpers by not being too radical and not shaking things up on a financial basis. I'm not talking about the transgender. I'm not talking about all of the culture war nonsense bullshit. I'm talking about financially. I'm talking about economics. I'm talking about changing the economic structure in this country. I'm talking about taxing billionaires, really taxing them, not giving them tax breaks. We're getting rid of all the loopholes that they exploit so that they have to pay less taxes than your average nurse or your average teenager.
All right, if you open up social media or you listen to fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird MK Ultra media, you would think the entire world is losing its mind. Looks like you got a lot of people on the right, including influencers, who are saying, we need to take up arms and start a civil war, like this guy right here. Hand the shooter over to us. He doesn't get a trial. Is that really the America that we want to live in? Here's another one. We will go to war for Charlie Kirk's family. We will? Is that where we want to go? Do we really want to go to war? Y'all are mouthing off to Charlie Kirk's wife. We are done talking. Is that what Charlie Kirk was all about? Was he done talking, or was he there to start a conversation? It's almost like people on the right and the people on the left who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death don't even know who the real Charlie Kirk was or what Charlie Kirk spoke about. And he spoke about a lot of right things. For example, you have people on the left that are celebrating his death. What percentage of those people actually took the time to listen to what Charlie Kirk was all about instead of reacting on a fantasized, ginned up version of Charlie Kirk? I doubt many of them did. They either saw clips taken out of context, that he's racist, that he's misogynist, that he's anti-trans, or they're just listening to their Marxist teachers spew a bunch of BS. So maybe it's a good idea to bring the temperature down in the room and just kind of examine what's going on. Now, when I brought up examples of heavy-duty country, this isn't me trying to start a fight with him. I want to start a dialogue with him. Now, he mentioned me a couple videos ago in kind of a derogatory way, and I will deal with that, but I'm not here to try to push back or make enemies, but we are going to call a spade a spade. So yesterday there was this massive rally in London, according to some accounts, record-breaking rally of 1 million people or more, and it was spearheaded by Tommy Robinson, Mossad pro-IDF Tommy Robinson, and we're going to watch some of that right now. Check this out. On the right side of the screen, you see just the streets of London just filled wall to wall with people like it's a carpet of people. And on the left, we're going to listen to what Tommy Robinson says, and then we're going to look at some words by Elon Musk. Let's just chill out. Let's gauge what they're saying. Let's realize who these people are, what they've said in the past, who they represent, and are they really good for America? Are they good for the world?
We came in our millions, okay? The biggest protest in British history. You, the British public, have now made London the battleground for this fight. We're going to do it again. I'm sorry, some people couldn't hear because there's too many of us. We need to be in Hyde Park. We need to make this the biggest concert, the Unite the Kingdom concert. What an amazing day. Thank you for every one of you who travelled there. Thank you for your behaviour. Thank you for your support, every one of you. We've made London the battleground. We didn't get to finish it. We didn't get to kill our closing speeches. We didn't get to tell you our vision of how we can change this country, but we're going to. We're going to do it again. Unite the Kingdom, unite the West. It's a cry for help. We want world leaders. We want them coming from all over the globe. London has been chosen. You, the British public, have made that happen.
We want world leaders coming from all over the globe to participate in this protest, which I'm assuming is a protest against an evil government. The problem is the world leaders. The problem is that they've sold their souls to become puppets for the global elitists who literally own everything. Again, if they own the British pound, if they own the American dollar, if they own the currency of any nation, they own that nation. And marching does not diminish their power. Marching doesn't restore the value of your currency.
See, if you attended, did you have a good day? Do you want to do it again? Okay, we've just broke every record on the amount of people who have ever protested, on probably live viewers on X, all over the board. So, I'm tired, it's been a long week, but every one of you helped us make history today. The fight's not over, it's just starting. That's the reality, yeah? We need all of you to get involved. Everyone. We've all got a role to play. Don't talk about change, be the change. That's the reality, yeah? That's what we need. Thank you to Elon Musk, man. What a moment. What a moment. I've got 20 minutes out of Elon Musk's time. He gave that time to you, the British public. He spoke up for us. He's continued to fight for us for free speech, as have Donald Trump, as have J.D. Vance. So when you voted, if you're in the United States, when you voted...
Now, J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, you're going to speak about them in a positive light. He says right up here, God bless Elon Musk, J.D. Palantir Vance, real Donald, red flag law, gun confiscation. I like take the guns first, due process second, owned by the Rothschilds banking cartel, pro-CARES Act, that's the signing of a $6.2 trillion power and wealth transfer.